I'm not black, I'm Kanye. Okay. This is the Elmatic View, and I told you guys I was going to give you some video commentary on Kanye West. I'd already given you guys some written commentary. Of course, you guys can follow my Instagram. It's the Elmatic View on Instagram. I give plenty of commentary on there daily. Let's go back to this. So I want to start off with talking about his Charlamagne the God interview. I got 5 pages for notes on this nigga. So it's going to be a lengthy vlog today. So watching that interview gave me a lot of insight as to who Kanye was as a man, as a person, the way he thinks. You know, we're so quick to judge him and say that, oh, he's crazy. I don't necessarily think that he's crazy. I think he's a true Gemini. When he compared himself to Tupac, it gave me so many revelations as to, and so many comparisons, like, oh, I can see that comparisons between him and Tupac, and, you know, how outlandish they are and how they would just spaz out, you know, and things like that. So their personalities are similar when it comes to things like that, even far as being the devil's advocate that he is. So he didn't express his breakdown. He said it was a breakthrough when he went to the hospital and was committed for depression or whatever else he was going through. The thing about it is, we have to understand as black people that stop judging each other when it comes to mental health. Mental health is very real, and with this being Mental Health Awareness Month, once again, I'm very I like to speak a lot on that because I've had my own troubles with that. I know people, not troubles, I have my own breakthrough with that. I know plenty of people that are still going through their breakthroughs with mental health. And Kanye is our brother, irregardless of the fact that he's a celebrity. He's a human being. So things that he's going through are things that we all go through, except that we're not worth millions of dollars. And the camera isn't in our face daily, scrutinizing us, making us feel like we're less than because we have an opinion that differs from anyone else's. He explained that he went through his breakthrough because of competition, and he wasn't even playing on the radio as much after the Taylor Swift situation. He wanted validation from most people, and we're going to say, why is he going to seek validation from the white man? I don't know if it's seeking validation from the white man, or if it's just seeking validation from people. You know, he wants to be liked. He wants to be loved. And I think most of us do. We just might handle it differently than he had. And that's why he's so big on this whole Jay-Z thing, and I'll get to that later on. And it helped me understand his feelings in regards to that as well, why he spazzed out for 20 minutes and Jigga gave him 20 million. That whole situation. He felt helpless after his wife was robbed. And as a man, you know, he would feel helpless, of course, if his wife was robbed, but he couldn't do anything about it. Kanye has went through a lot, you know, and I think that after his mother passed away, he did not receive the proper guidance that he should have. He didn't have the right people around him saying, hey, go get grief counseling, go get some therapy, because it's needed. And he said that he doesn't go to therapy, that talking to people is his therapy. And that alone is an issue. And I don't think that his wife is strong enough. And that's why, brothers, y'all got to date y'all a black woman. Now y'all get sick, our heads rolling, our fingers popping, all that shit. But a black sister gonna tell your ass, get your ass to the counselor, because you're going through some shit. You know, instead of pacifying him and making a storyline on keeping up with the Kardashians. And when Charlamagne mentioned that as well, that he felt like his life is a storyline. And he wanted to make it this documented truth or whatnot without throwing his wife under the bus. But that's what it is. You know, your reality sometimes needs to be for yourself. And if you want to document that, then do that, but not for a paycheck. You know, he goes on his Twitter rants and talked about his debt on Twitter and things like that. He said he felt empowered by doing that. And it's great to express your testimonies. I do it all the time. It is power in testimony. But at the same time, you do it when you feel like it, not on the butt of somebody else. And unfortunately, I feel like on reality television for him, and with his wife being so popular, even I feel like more popular than him, he has no privacy. He has no time to just be in his feelings and just deal with himself. And he doesn't have anyone pushing him to do anything. Now, I'm not Kim. I think I'm Chloe sometimes, but you know, I don't know what they got going on over there. But I hope that she's encouraging her husband to seek some mental health help. Whatever she's doing is not effective, clearly. He talked about how he feels the term rapper isn't a compliment when it comes to white publication. And I think that as well. You know, they consider white people as artists, and we are just rappers. As if rapping isn't an art. It's a form of poetry. So when people say he's trying to seek validation from white people, it's fucked up because Kanye was the black people's people for so long. You know, he was the most woke artist we had in the millennial culture for quite some time. And to see him transforming into something different, I think it's whom he's surrounding himself around. I don't think that the issue is that when someone is that wealthy, they're absent-minded of the things that go on in real life. So when he says things like he loves Trump, you know, he don't have to deal with the backlash of Trump because he's worth millions of dollars. You know, and as he said, Yeezy is worth billions at some point. And also, let's talk about that. When he said that he loved Trump, he didn't say that he loves Trump's principles and what he, stood for as a man. What he says that he loved the fact that Trump was an underdog, that he was the example of change, that he was the example of you can do anything you put your mind to. And I get that. The issue with Kanye is that his delivery is just fucked up, and he says the wrong thing at the wrong time, and he doesn't explain what he's saying. If he had said, I fuck with Trump, he's the underdog like me, we would have maybe looked at it totally differently. When he put that Make America Great Again hat on, he just messed it all up for him. So now they ain't playing his music on the radio, and now people ain't gonna buy no more Yeezys, which they lying, they gonna wear Yeezys tomorrow. It's just a bunch of foolishness that he needs good PR. He needs real friends in his corner. He needs a wife with a backbone to tell him, stop saying stupid shit. Think before you talk. Stop tweeting in the middle of interviews with Charlamagne the God, because the internet is your life at this point. He stopped and actually tweeted during that interview. That's an issue. Be conscious of what's going on. No one's around him telling him what's right or wrong. Seek help. And that's what's wrong with most people, I feel like. So talking about friends, let's go back there. He's upset because Jay-Z didn't come to his wedding. Jay-Z's upset because Kanye spoke about his family. And in Kanye's defense, Kanye said, so are we brothers or are we business partners? Because as brothers, if I'm speaking of your family is my family. And I totally get that. But one comment he did say, and he said it kind of quietly, was when they did the Watch the Throne tour, he was with Jay-Z every day because it was a benefit to him. He created the outline of the tour. He created the cover of the album. He was the first person to wear the Rockwaller on the Da Vinci shirt, all this stuff. He got to make sure he was Ray J. I hit it first. Anyway, so he's saying that if it's no benefit to Jay, he's not around Jay every day. He doesn't talk to Jay every day. I don't want to believe that because I love Jay-Z, but sometimes it's not as Fab say, it ain't because you're beneficial, it's because you're beneficial. So I get that. He also said he wanted to take that stigma away from mental health, that crazy thing, because again, everybody goes through breakdowns or breakthroughs or something. Everybody just handles it differently or doesn't even acknowledge the fact. His first step was acknowledging, and that's the great thing. But he has to go towards fixing it. He said that he's learning every day, that he feels like fear sometimes is powerful, but the brave thing is to overcome it. And that's why he lashes out sometimes. And his biggest issue is holding things in. And that's what people think, so he's crazy because he just spazzes out. No, he has a build up of shit, and then one day he might just snap. And that's unhealthy. And that's when people end up on Snapped, at 8 p.m. on oxygen, because you just snap out of nowhere. I'm that person. I let things build up and build up and build up, and then one day I just go off, and it's like, oh, she crazy. No, I'm just irritated. And you might even done shit this time around. It might have been the 10 times before that. So we have to just look at him as if he's human just like us. We experience the same things he's experiencing again, except we're not worth millions of dollars with a camera in our face. We're able to deal with our situations privately for the most part. He has an issue with not trusting anybody. He doesn't have any real friends around him. He has, where's his original friends from Chicago? You don't hear about that. He doesn't have a Tata by his side. He doesn't have that. And that's a problem because no one knows who Kanye really is. So it's so easy for Kanye to forget who he really is at the same time. I got so many notes, guys. So I'm just looking down sometimes just to make sure. And he said that words can sometimes set apart expression because we forget emotion. And I thought that was pretty deep. He also said that the universe will assign you. It's like a city of love. He also said that negativity gets a negative rap, because sometimes negativity can be healthy to a degree. I'm not saying all negativity, but some bad things that happen to you can be a breakthrough for you. It can be a testimony for you to help other people. It can be it gives you strength. It gives you power. It gives you courage. It gives you guidance through negative things that happen in your life. So I totally get what he says, that negativity gets a bad rap. The thing is that Kanye is far from crazy. It's just that when you watch that interview, he got 10 different things going on in his head at one time. And it's like trying to piece it together. And it only takes a creative, I feel like, to understand Kanye. It only takes an intellect to understand Kanye. And that's why so many people don't get him, because our mind isn't next level. Like he said, I'm thinking in 2035 and y'all still in 2018. So how can I put that in layman's terms for you? It's difficult. What else did he say that was good? He lost confidence. He didn't know why he lost his confidence. We lose confidence daily. A man in society going to get liposuction. That's why you should get you a black woman. Because your black wife would have told you to take your ass to the gym. Your black wife would have told you ain't getting no damn lipo, nigga. But that's neither here nor there. You know, just for the record, I have a big issue with black men getting wealth and not dating black women. Because I feel like if you was regular Kanye West from South Side of Chicago, you wouldn't be fucking with Kim. Because Kim would be fucking with you. That's just how I feel about that. But that's on the topic. Y'all might bash me. Y'all might put negative comments. But I am that person. It was like his mom made sure that he was okay. And that's why I say that he need to get grief counseling. That's why, too, people have children. Don't just have one child because he's left by himself. You know, he has no one to grieve with or to get through the situation with that love this woman like he loved this woman. It's selfish to only have one child. Now, if, you know, God forbid, you can't conceive more than one, adopt, do something, because you are not put on this earth to be by yourself. You are not put on this earth to get through anything by yourself. And I spoke about that with my last blog. I also got his reference when it came to slavery. And I got to get to that later because I got some more stuff to talk about. Because that's a whole other big topic of that. He also spoke about being your own boss and about Virgil, the guy who came up with Off-White, who also did some interning with him, with Fendi and plenty of other people, who also is now running the men's line at Louis Vuitton. How he understands why he took that job at Louis Vuitton, becoming a worker again, because being a worker opens up bigger outlets for him. But black people have to understand that being a basketball player, being a rapper, isn't the only thing you can do, because that keeps you in solitude at some point. He felt like Obama was the perfect president. I think that he felt like Obama was to do something extra great for Chicago because they're both from Chicago. That's impossible with him being the president. He can't just do everything for Chicago. He really can do anything for himself because, I mean, politics was crazy the last 8 years when he was in office. But he did the best that he could do, and I feel like Kanye needs to give him more credit for that. Kanye takes everything very personal. You know, everything is very just... And that's because he's a real human being. He doesn't know how to separate business from friendship. And I wonder that because he's an only child. Only child syndrome. That's deep. I didn't think about that. He's also a person that craves for information. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So his biggest issue is not being informed of things. And that's why he gets irritated and frustrated with people. So when Jay-Z said about the $20 million in the record on 444, he said, well, if I'm signed to Roc Nation, you didn't give me anything. That's what my management company gave me. Now, if there's something more where you were able to push the deal a little bit further for me, then give me that information so I can know that and I can thank you for that. But I wasn't given that information. And so that's a huge thing for him, is that he loves to absorb information. Like right now, he's trying to start an architectural company where he's building his own homes on this big-ass estate in Wyoming. And he's so brilliant that he ain't got it all. It's like he said, my papa would say, he's so smart, he's crazy. You know, but I don't like to use the term crazy. He is very unconventional, and he's not conformed to one thing. And I think that he says things to stir the pot and to get us to think and to spark an interest. But at the same time, I feel what's messed up as black people, we're so quick to say fuck Kanye, but we still rocking R. Kelly records every day. And I'm gonna leave that right there. He said that he loves Bernie Sanders' principles, but he loved the campaign of Trump, and he loved the campaign of Trump because it was unapologetically himself. That's the thing about Trump that you have to respect, because, and I get when Kanye says that, he lays all his cards on the table. Take me who I am. I'm an asshole. I'm a cunt. I'm prejudiced as hell. If you poor, I don't like your ass. That's who Trump is. He's not hiding his face. He's not hiding behind shit. He don't have a poker face. He is who he is. And that there is enough to respect that man. And so I get that. And they just open our eyes to more possibilities. You know what I'm saying? So go back to the whole slavery thing when he was on TMZ. And so when he was actually on Charlamagne's show, he mentioned Harriet Tubman on the $2 bill. And he said, you know, we're still living in slavery. And it's a constant reminder of slavery. You know, put Michael Jordan on the $2 bill. That's extreme. I wouldn't put him on there because he don't even like black folks. And he don't give back to his community. But, you know, if you want to give someone a $2 bill, it shouldn't be him. And I understand it shouldn't be Harriet Tubman. In his opinion, you know, I'm all for the righteousness of the slavery. But, I get where he's coming from. It's a constant reminder. We're still living in the past. Let's get over it. That's overcoming. But the issue is that we're still living in post-slavery syndrome right now. So we can't really get over something that we haven't coped with or haven't been taught to, haven't been given the tools to get over, because this has been a traumatic issue. You know, it's still affecting us today. Like I said in my last blog, is that I'm 5th year generation of post-slavery. Statistics have shown that I'm suffering post-traumatic stress from my ancestors. How? But it's because we were never taught from then to get over it. And we were never taught from then because we've always been taught to just thug it out. We were never taught to go to therapy, and you don't want to go to therapy. We were never taught to, as a man, you ain't supposed to cry. Why can't he cry? Why can't he feel vulnerable in a moment? We're still dealing with that right now. It's an issue. Far as him saying that slavery is a choice. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to get backlash for it because I already have. So you mean to tell me you've never thought in your mind, how did we become enslaved when it was more of us than it was of them? And that's being ignorant of the slave trade. Because most of us don't really know how we were enslaved. So if you're ignorant to the slave trade, one would think, how is this possible? Him asking how isn't an issue. His delivery of that how is the issue. Myself as a millennial, I think that I would think the same way he did, but also I only know freedom. I've had so many other tools and been educated in so many different levels as to what's going on in the world, and not those people, that's the wrong term to use, but my ancestors did not. The thing about it is that I think that Kanye is misunderstood. He's also misinformed because he is so separated from the world. Just like Lil Wayne was when he made his comment. Did we throw Lil Wayne away? When he said a comment about Black lives don't matter, the fuck he said, did y'all throw him away? No, y'all still banging his music, waiting on the Carter 3 to drop. So do the same thing with him. That's what I'm saying. Inform him, educate him, because he's receptive to more information, and stop being highly sensitive people, as he would say. And just have more free thought, as he would say. I love Kanye for the way that he thinks. It's outside the box. Not to say that it's right, but just say that he has an opinion, and just because it differs from someone else doesn't mean that it's wrong. It might be stupid as hell, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. That's his thought. He's entitled to think the way he wants to think. I'm sure Don does slap his ass across the head for it if she was still alive, but he's going through a lot of things in his own mind. He suffered from opiate addiction, which is, again, something I have to talk about. I keep talking about it, but so much. He talked about that. Meek Mill talked about opiate addiction recently in a Breakfast Club interview. That's something that's very real that he had to deal with. So it's a lot of things that he's gone through that we don't know behind closed doors, that he's just now spewing out saying, hey, I've gone through all of this shit. He hadn't watched television. He doesn't read books. Kanye just started watching CNN a couple months ago. He's very separated from the world, and I blame that on the people around him, because why doesn't he know what the hell is going on here? Why is he so separated from the world? And you can tell even by his speech, it's much different to me. The things he talks about is much different to me. He's gone through some things, and he hasn't had the right people around him to tell him to seek help, and don't seek attention by trying to say off the wall things. And I think that's what he does too. He loves to stir things up. He loves controversy. So the thing about Kanye is, love Kanye, wrap your arms around Kanye. From a distance. We don't know him personally, but we know people just like Kanye all the time. My thing is, he's a great artist. We've been loving Kanye for over probably 15 years. He's came out with so many great things musically. As far as clothes, he's a brilliant man. He's a genius. He just needs a little bit more help than most. Not even that most. He just needs people around him that actually love him and care about him, and that's what he doesn't have. So I think that he's very misunderstood. And the things that he says is not something that we all haven't possibly thought. We don't know what really happened during the slave trade. All these things, have been said, but I don't think what he said was horrible. I think that he just delivered it fucked up. So, to conclude Kanye's vlog is to think outside the box. Read the gray area when people are talking, especially a person like Kanye West, who's a true Gemini, whose conversation is all over the place, when he's constantly in his own mind, is in his own feelings. So the way he delivers things may not be exactly what he means, but it's kind of twisted. So don't be so quick to judge. Don't be so quick to look down on people. And although we have to hold celebrities accountable because they are public figures and they do hold a higher platform, they are human just like you and I. And they probably go through things deeper than we do because they have to hold this smile on their face because they're not expected to go through shit. They're expected to be perfect, and that's what makes it even worse for them. And that's why they seek so many things, and that's why they get into drugs and alcohol and into depression. And you see so many people fall into those things. Like, it's messed up. So instead of just throwing the whole Kanye away, pray for Kanye. Make Kanye great again. And this is the Elmatic View. Please continue to tune in, subscribe. Make sure you guys are checking out my Instagram, the Elmatic View. That's also my email for the inquiries. I do hostings. I do some speaking engagements. Actually, I was doing for my sister's keeper next week in Highland Park, Michigan. I'm very excited about that, speaking to some young girls. I'm constantly growing and glowing every day. I'm not coming on here to be better than anybody else. I'm not coming on here to think I know everything. I'm just here to say, just spark an interest. And hopefully get some good conversations going within the Black community. So, one love. Thank you.